Welcome. It's the Close the Deal show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray, a formerly incarcerated man, as well as an entrepreneur. Every week, we bring you business information, tips, and insights from entrepreneurs, business professionals, and inspired individuals from the San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. The Close the Deal show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small businesses. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business or educate the public, then you're in the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. I want to talk to you, and I want the viewers to gain more information and understanding how it is not only to network, but how it is to socially impact people. No matter what profession you in, we all have a great deal in changing people's lives based on our attitude, our personality. And a lot of times when certain people get into certain type of professions, they develop the skill. And that skill is being able to not only communicate, but get across with people and understanding how to connect people with the right people. So today, my guest is not only an extraordinary woman, but this woman is impacting the R&B world, the music world, and is making a difference and change. Her name is Hiphopalise. So allow a PR celebrity consultant, Hiphopalise, to the Close the Deal show. Welcome, Elise. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's nice
Absolutely.
to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that I find very intriguing is how people get to meet people that people think about wanting to meet all their lives when it comes to celebrities. You know, first, allow us to know, what is your background professionally?
Well, I have a college degree from UC Davis, and which back then was in biology. But I've always had a love for music, and ever since college, I just started listening to R&B and hip hop music, and it became a big part of my life. And it's funny what you said is when I was younger, I used to go see these concerts like Jodeci or High Five or Teddy Riley, Guy, all these artists. And little did I know later on in life that these would be some of my best friends and people I would hang out with every week. So it's kind of a crazy dream that actually came true. So,
Well, they say dreams come true when you put in the work. So,
right.
how did you get into being a PR consultant for celebrities?
Well, it's a fairly new project for me. I've been meeting people a lot lately through networking. A lot of my friends are celebrities or are best friends or know a lot of celebrities. So because of that, I get invited to a lot of functions, and I meet people through other people, and then I connect with them, and for some reason I just bond with people, and that's how, and then they say, you know what, I could really use somebody like you on my team. And that's kind of how I started getting connected with a lot of people. Also, I've only been on Instagram about a year and a few months, and through Instagram, the amount of people that I have met has been incredible, and a lot of celebrities follow me. All the celebrities that I go to their concerts, they all repost my pictures and my videos, and through that I meet just more and more people, and it just keeps networking and networking. So that's kind of what happens.
So, who have you met in the last 90 days?
In the last 90 days, oh God, I can't even tell you how many people. I was at a big party in LA, so I met Dwayne Martin. I already knew Joe Torre. I'm going to be working with actress Elise Neal. Um, oh my God, I've been hanging out with Teddy Riley, with Guy and Blackstreet, High Five. I just, so many people. I just meet people like every day. It's just not every day, but every week when I'm on the road traveling and things like that. So.
So, what were the steps that you took to become a PR consultant for celebrities?
Well, basically, I've always wanted to do PR. I started doing it back, I used to work for the Golden State Warriors about 18 years ago. And my job was group sales and working with corporations and companies, putting together morale nights. And through that, I kind of started getting into like PR and working with people and just working with CEOs and HR managers and things like that, and I really enjoyed it. So then I kind of started taking that more into with celebrities. And the first time I ever did it was funny, as I worked the BET Awards, and I was on the red carpet, and my assignment was to be PR for any of the artists that didn't have PR people with them. So this family got out of the car, and the father was this big celebrity from the Five Heartbeats and things like that, and his son, Rashawn, was a 5-year-old kid at the time who was trying to get into TV and movies, and his only bit part at that point was a small role in Spider-Man. And through that, they met me, they loved me, they really liked me, and they had hired me right there to help them do some PR. And I worked with them for a while, but really, I wasn't a booking agent. That's not kind of what I do. I like to represent the artist. But through that, and now that person, Rashawn Fagan, is a big Disney star, one of the biggest stars there is on the Disney Channel. But it's just being in the right place at the right time and meeting the right people and wanting them to represent them.
So what type of attitude should one have if they're inspiring another person how to perfect their craft like you're doing yours?
What kind of attitude? I basically just always have a positive attitude. I travel sometimes, I used to never want to travel by myself. I always used to have to have people with me, but now I go to these concerts and I go to these events by myself and just meet people and network, and just what happens, or I get introduced, like last week, for example, a person I just met was D.L. Hughley, the famous comedian. And I was introduced to him through a comedian I've known for over 20 years. And I told him what I do and who I work with, and that I know one of his favorite co-stars when he used to be on the Hughleys. And he's like, oh, well, I have an artist that I work with on my morning show, and she needs representation. So he gave me his phone number and said, contact me, and I want to work with you. So that was something that actually literally happened 2 weeks ago.
That's amazing. D.L. Hughley is one of the kings of the comedy.
Correct, yes. And he is such a nice guy. And I've been going to his shows for years and years and years. And then I finally got to meet him because one of the comedians that opens up for him is somebody I've known for many, many years.
And who would that be?
Daniel Dugar, who's a Bay Area comedian who travels all over the world to, he entertains the troops and all that stuff. So DL takes him on the road with him, especially locally and stuff and he's the the feature comedian that comes on before the headliner. So
what is the role of an entertainment PR consultant?
Basically, we represent the clients just when negotiating contracts, because I kind of do a little bit of management, things like that. When they need to do TV or movie interviews or TV commercials, things like that, we kind of make sure everything is running smooth, and we kind of are the person who is the main communication point between the artist and the people who are hiring them, basically.
So when you say you do contracts, do you explain them the basic aspects of the law in order to reassure them that they're going to get a fair shake in the contract?
Well, yeah, and also I'm just negotiating the best deal possible for them. So that's kind of what a manager does, is make sure that the person is getting paid for what they're worth and what they really should be getting for that type of job.
So what's the goal of a PR consultant?
The goal is to make sure that their client is happy and is making the best of their time and getting the most for their, contracts and things like that, and just representing that person out there in the world to make sure that that person is always, that the artist is always, getting the best that they should be getting, and also, let's say that person wants, you ever always hear about stories like J-Lo wants green M&Ms or Madonna wants this or whatever, but basically their person makes sure that everything is taken care of for the artist before they get to the venue or to the place that they need to be. So
is that a hard task, working with certain celebrities where you're dealing with their attitudes, you're dealing with their perks, and they're not worth really dealing with regardless of the money?
I haven't run into that because the people that I am dealing with, or the newer things, are pretty good people that I have a good relationship with. So I really haven't run into any of those mean or snotty or type of artists yet. So I'm very lucky with that.
Sounds like to me, right, that you've been dealing in this business for quite some time. if you had the opportunity to teach PR class, what would be some of the principles that you would outline for, say, for instance, I deal with a lot of people that were formerly incarcerated.
Right.
And the first thing that we like to explain to them on the show is to develop social relationships.
Right.
So, how would you go about explaining to someone, that you are now getting into a business and it's like someone that's just been released from prison? You don't know celebrities. You don't know how they interact. You don't know how they deal. How would you go about explaining to them 2 or 3 steps and putting themselves in a position to develop the credibility that you have since you've been in the business?
Oh, geez. Basically, you got to go in with a positive attitude. And you always want to be a good listener. That's the number one thing. So you want to listen to the artist, see what makes them happy and what they want out of you. That's really an important thing. So that's the number one thing, is to make sure you're a good listener in any type of thing. I come from a sales background. I've been doing sales for many, many years, whether it be for the Golden State Warriors or medical sales. All that type of stuff helps a lot. So you always want to be a good listener, and you always want to put the artist's needs first and make sure that you're getting them the best offer or the best circumstances for what they're trying to do.
So, in the next 6 months or so, what projects will you be working on?
Actually, I'm really excited. There's a couple new projects. One of them is because of Instagram, a manager of a new artist who's a hip hop violinist reached out to me, and I actually knew the manager since I was in my 20s, a long time. And he said, "Look, we need somebody like you on my team to help with the social media, which is something I really am good at. With social media, help with management and just PR and getting out there." So I'm going to be working with an up and coming hip hop violinist. I'm going to be attending the Stellar Awards, which is the Gospel Music Awards, which is the version of the Gospel Grammys in Las Vegas at the end of the month.
Could you hold that thought one quick second?
Yeah.
Now, who is this hip hop violinist?
His name is Gareth Johnson, and he was trained as a classical violinist. And my friend who's his manager, his name is Dwayne Taylor, and he said, "You know what, you're so good, let's train you to learn other types of music and market you, kind of like there's a group called Black Violin out there, and then there's also the guy from America's Got Talent that almost won, the guy that was the hip hop violinist. And then what's the other big one? Oh my God. I can't think of his name right now, but there's people out, Damien Escobar.
Okay.
So there is a market out there. There are a few people. So he said, well, why don't we do that? So he actually used the classically trained violinist and had him learn hip hop music, which he never knew. This was an African-American artist that did not know anything about hip-hop and R&B, and taught him about other music so that he could become more marketable. And they did a CD, and now we're going to be marketing the CD and booking him at all different festivals and things like that. So that's kind of neat.
So when's the CD coming out?
It's out now.
Oh, it is? Where could one buy the CD at?
On all platforms.
All platforms?
Yep,
and
it's
what are
already there.
those platforms?
Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Play Store for, Galaxy, things like that. So.
And
yeah.
what is this artist's name?
His name is Gareth Johnson.
Okay. Okay. So who's the up and coming event you're supposed to be doing? Not who, but the Stellar Awards, you said?
Yes. So there's a big radio DJ, not big, but a well-known radio DJ in San Francisco who works at KPOO, and it's a gospel station, and he is representing Francisco and going to the Stellar Awards, and I'm going with him as his PR person and kind of like work with him with all the artists. So we're going to be attending a new artist showcase. We're going to be going to a movie screening, going to a bowling night, and then attending the actual Stellar Awards themselves. So it's going to be kind of neat. I've never done anything like that. Gospel music is a new realm for me. So,
or is there anyone in particular gospel have you listened to in the past?
Well, I mean, I know there's some people that I know, a lot of music producers in LA, one named Jovan Dawkins, who's up for 6 Stellar Awards. He's a producer. So he works with people like Bruno Mars and TLC, but then he works with people doing gospel, like he was part of Snoop Dogg's gospel album. And he's working with, I forgot this one big, Donnie McClurkin and some other big gospel artists right now. And they're doing a soundtrack to a movie and things like that.
Who, Fred Hammond?
Yeah, that's who he's working with. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. So he's working with Fred Hammond on that. So it'll be a great experience to learn more and more about this genre of music and just getting to go out there and just meet a lot of new people. So I'm really excited for the Stellar Awards. It's the last Friday in the month of, so it's the 29th of March is the actual awards. And there's 3 days worth of activities in Vegas. So it's in Las Vegas at the Orleans is the name of the.
So this was one of the first steps that you learned as a PR consultant, is to be a good listener.
Yeah.
And being a good listener has created a door of more opportunities you can ever imagine?
Yeah, just meeting more and more people. I mean, believe it or not, Instagram and Facebook, I've met so many people through them, or just meeting artists through other artists. You know, a friend I've been friends with for 30 years is Jamie Foxx's best friend. And meeting people through them. And then my friend who I've been friends with, he's a comedian. He has a daily Monday through Friday YouTube show, and he has special guests. So every time I've gone and helped, been there to the show, I meet more and more artists. That's how I met Elise Neal. That's how I met a lot of comedians and different people, is by just meeting them through other people, and they just bonding with them and just getting along great with them. So that's kind of what happens. It's just all about your personality and how you interact with people. So
what's next for you in the next year or so? Where do you see you taking not only your PR consultant format, but your leadership skills?
Just to continue to build my brand, to have a few, maybe 3 to 5 artists that I work with regularly, and just to go out there and just represent these artists and start working with people. Like the first time I ever met Teddy Riley, who's my favorite artist in the whole world, he's like, Elise, I want you to do my fan club. I want you to work with social media, and I want you to do merchandising. And, that's something that I might be working on in the future. But right now I'm just always, with them on the road all the time, Guy and Blackstreet and things like that, learning from people and just, just trying to build up, a good clientele and doing what I can do. So
you mean to tell me you didn't already connected with Telly Riley, Guy, and Blackstreet to the level where they're bringing you on tour?
Well, I'm with them. I choose the event, the concerts and the events that I want to go to. And when I go, then I'm with all their people and I'm backstage and I'm hanging out and learning from them. And I was just with them last weekend at the Miami Jazz in the Gardens. So a lot of times his show is called Teddy Riley and Friends. And then, so he'll always have Guy and Blackstreet. This time he had Bobby Brown, Jagged Edge, and Vogue. He takes different people with him when he does his concerts and things like that. So I'm kind of intertwined with all of his people. All of his friends are my friends. And just, I'm just involved with that. And I work a lot. I'm on the road a lot with High Five, the R&B group. Tony, Bay Area's own. I'm with them a lot of the time, hanging out and just learning different things from a lot of different artists.
So what it sounds like to me, you're not only creating an economic empowerment, but you're actually paving the way for other people to gain more insight, learn new tips, and develop more strategies and how they can get into the field.
Yeah, I'm still kind of new, but I'm trying to work on stuff like that. Yeah, just building my own brand and getting involved in different aspects of the management, artist management. Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I find very intriguing is the fact that you're willing to pay it forward and give back. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that deals with your upbringing. Do you remember as a child one of the key things that your parents taught you that you still do today?
Basically just treat everybody like they're the same as you know, I've never had to experience any prejudice or any things like that. So I was lucky. And I just, all of my best friends are every race, every nationality, religion, anything you can imagine. So basically, I've just, grown up with an open mind. And when I went away to college is really when I learned a lot about a lot of different things, So I learned the most about everything is when I went to college and just broadened my horizons, basically. So.
Well, Elise, I want to thank you, not just for only coming on the show, but for sharing your insight, because whether you know it or not, you learned something today. How so? She's told you how she's paved the way in making herself become marketable as a PR consultant on the Close the Deal show. Elise, I want to truly thank you for appearing on the show today.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Before we close this deal, not only would we love to hear from you, if you have suggestions, questions, or even want to apply to be a guest on the show, visit the Close the Deal show at www.theclosethedealshow.com. San Francisco Bay Area viewers, you can find us every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. on cable Comcast, channel 29, or online at BAVC. You can find Hiphopalise on Instagram, so please look her up, as well as Facebook, HIPHOP Alise, ALISE. Worldwide, find the Close the Deal show on YouTube. You can just type my name, Terrence McCray, or click my picture. Please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite episode. Take good care, everyone, and don't forget, find the right connection in order to close the right deal.